Thank you. Based on your raw transcript and the clarifying summary, here is your finalized clean defense closing argument, complete with tone, structure, and precision, and suitable for performance or recording in a text-to-speech format. No instructional text follows per your request. Defense closing argument, United States v. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. On behalf of Mr. Sean Combs and myself, let me start by apologizing for the prosecution's waste of your time, your attention, and your intelligence. We've sat through weeks of sensationalized headlines, emotional theatrics, and a government so eager to convict a man that they turned personal drama into federal law. Ms. Christy Slavic told you Mr. Combs is the leader of a criminal enterprise built on power, fear, and violence. I'm here to remind you, there's no enterprise. There's no criminal structure. There's only Mr. Combs and his personal failings. Yes, Mr. Combs is powerful. Yes, he's had complicated relationships. But to say that power equals crime? That's not the law. That's narrative. That's spectacle. And spectacle is not justice. Let's start with what they claim is the enterprise. Bad Boy Records, Ciroc, Sean John, the Sean Combs Foundation, and his other ventures. These are real businesses, built by creativity, sweat, vision, built legally. If you want to talk about enterprise, fine, but understand this. These are legitimate enterprises, not criminal ones. And no evidence, not a single piece, shows that these businesses were financed or expanded through criminal acts. So let's kill the myth right now. Combs is an entrepreneur, not a crime boss. Now let's look at the so-called small army. The assistants, bodyguards, staff. The prosecution wants you to believe this is a criminal crew. Really? A billion-dollar business with accountants, lawyers, branding teams, and no financial trail of criminal benefit? No hierarchy? No underbosses? They want you to believe KK, a staffer who wasn't even around when the alleged crimes began, is some kind of second in command. Come on. Give Mr. Combs a little more credit than that. This isn't the mob. This isn't a gang. This is a business. And if there's any misconduct here, it's personal, not federal. Now, the prosecution hinges their case on freak-offs, allegedly drug-fueled sexual encounters, supposedly non-consensual. They show you a single video from 2016, edited, sped up out of context. They play it over and over, not to prove a legal theory, but to stir emotion. That's not evidence. That's strategy. And it's not working. That video shows Mr. Combs trying to retrieve stolen property, not trafficking, not coercion. Ms. Ventura never filed domestic abuse charges. Ms. Jane Doe admitted she initiated a fight. Where is the pattern? Where is the force? You've seen none of that, because it doesn't exist. They talk about psychological coercion, but let's talk about malingering. That's when someone fabricates or exaggerates trauma for personal gain. And what do we have here? Witnesses who received gifts, housing, trips, who returned to work for Mr. Combs, who now claim they were victims years later. That's not coercion. That's regret. That's buyer's remorse. And it's been twisted into testimony. The prosecution wants you to think Mr. Combs threatened women with recordings, but there's actual evidence where he is asking someone not to give drugs to Cassie Ventura. The man they say manipulated women with drugs was the one trying to protect them. Let's talk about the Mann Act. They say traveling across state lines for sex equals trafficking. But again, there's no proof of money for sex. These were relationships. Private, complicated, messy, but consensual. If sex happened after travel, it happened because adults chose it, not because they were trafficked. Hell, even Cassie didn't identify herself as a sex worker. So how could anyone else have known? And now they say one single freak-off is enough for conviction. One incident. That's not a pattern. That's not RICO. That's desperation. Where are the profits? Where are the accounts showing underlings getting paid? Where is the financial benefit to this alleged enterprise? Show us the money. The truth is, Mr. Combs lost money in these relationships. He got played. That's not trafficking. That's being a trick. And in this case, that's all he was. Let's not forget who's really playing games here. This case is about making an example of a powerful black man. A man they say thinks he's above the law. A man they want to drag through the mud to send a message. This case is not about justice, it's about humiliation. And every witness knew that. They weren't coerced by Mr. Combs. They were recruited by the prosecution. Not one of them testified to being part of a sex trafficking ring. Not one of them said they conspired with Mr. Combs. Because they didn't. Because it didn't happen. This prosecution wants a viral moment. They want to walk out of this courtroom and say, got him. But don't let them get you. Don't let this circus, this sloppily built case filled with contradictions and coach trauma, blind you to what matters. Use your legal mind, not your emotions. Think critically. Think clearly. There is no criminal enterprise. There is no RICO. There is no trafficking. There is no boss. There is no pattern. There is no plan. There is only Sean Combs, a man with power, with flaws, and with enemies. A man who has been made into a target, not because of what he did, but because of who he is. So I leave you with this. Please give Mr. Combs a little more credit than the prosecution has. He is not the criminal mastermind they've painted. He is not guilty of these charges. And you have the power, not just to return a verdict, but to restore the boundary between scandal and law. Please find Mr. Combs not guilty. Thank you.